As the year 2024 comes to a close and we usher in the new year, I thought it would be good to do a year-end review talking about how the channel's doing, where it might go in the future, along with a few minor personal updates that may or may not be relevant in the future. 2024 marked the relaunch of Research Reality. I think it was maybe in September that I put out the first video in a couple of years actually. Some of those earlier videos are still up on YouTube. You'll see that the wall is not quite as filled in, and they're also a bit less structured, and they definitely did not talk a lot about music, which is definitely the forefront of what the channel represents, at least in my mind. But back then, I definitely focused on making different kinds of videos. There's still a skateboarding video that's up. There's also a disc golf video that's still up. But there were also just other sort of random nonsense videos, like a drum video, a guitar video, just kind of, making whatever kind of videos I could to then spread across the internet, hoping that it would then attract viewers for the main attraction, which, I kind of just stopped doing that, and instead focused most of my energy again on those music reviews and also just talking about current events, or just events that actually interest me, still with a political bend. I forget where things were at before the relaunch this year. I want to say I maybe had like 92 subscribers. That has now grown to, at time of filming, 161, which I really cannot appreciate you guys enough for liking, subscribing, commenting, and also just the sheer amount of music recommendations that I've received in the comment section is just honestly kind of mind-blowing. So many people are commenting their favorite bands, their favorite songs, all of which I'm definitely going to look into, and again, this spot right here is reserved specifically for viewer recommendations, so again, if there's any band that you think fits on this wall, it will go BAM! Right there. And I just think it's so cool that so many people are sharing their favorite artist, because again, that's kind of the crux of the channel, is that you just need to recognize one album on the wall that might lead you to a litany of other connections, because again, everything is kind of loosely connected. Every band or artist is saying the same thing in a general sense. It's all protest music, revolutionary music, some kind of social commentary. Again, going back to the channel thesis, embedded within our creative culture is an undercurrent of unified resistance. And I think we're even seeing that with the United Healthcare situation, where so much music has been made specifically about that event, and it just goes to show how powerful a force music can become. Again, thank you guys for subscribing, thank you for all the music recommendations, and thank you for sticking with me as I kind of grow into this whole YouTube thing. In the future, I plan on getting better lighting, I plan on developing my editing skills, I plan on, having a more structured format, and I've already received a lot of really good feedback on how to make better videos, but a lot of these videos I've already made previously. I tend to have at least 4 or 5 in the chamber, so when I get feedback, it's going to be a number of weeks before I actually implement said feedback. So it's kind of a slow grind, but going back to the channel, again, just to kind of timestamp everything, because you never know when we might revisit this in the future. So again, at current standing, our total subscribers are at 161. The highest viewed video is the Deny, Defend, Oppose Part 1, coming in with 2,500 views, 125 likes, and like 38 comments. I mean, that thing just kind of kept going. And so that's the current standing of the channel as it sits now, going into 2025. I'm sticking with the schedule of uploading 1 video a week and kind of alternating between album reviews and other topic videos, which just kind of gives me a buffer in making those review videos, because they do take a lot of work. I want to do them justice. Again, not to say that they can't be improved, because they definitely can and will be, but for now, just kind of is what it is, I guess. But on a more personal note, something that I haven't really discussed much since relaunching the channel, in the background of making videos, editing videos, uploading them, in between all of this, I am still writing my second novel, which long-term viewers of the channel would know. I've actually written 2 novels, 1 novella, and a number of short stories. Some of those videos you can still find on the channel, but the long and short of it is that I've written 2 novels. They're both dystopian dystopian novels, and in fact, I was inspired to become a writer because of the music behind me. Like I mentioned in the very first Research Reality video, music definitely changed my life. It gave me a whole new perspective on the world around me, and that all inspired me to become a writer, to write a novel, and I've been going at it ever since. The novella is actually a horror suspense story that revolves around disc golf, believe it or not. And while I am currently an unpublished author, it's definitely not for lack of trying. My novella was actually very close to getting published a couple of times, the most notable being with Crystal Lake Press, where it was shortlisted to the top 50. However, it did not make the final cut. And my first novel, which is a more traditional dystopian novel, by the time I got it up to snuff and was actually pitching it to agents, this was after COVID, and nobody wanted to read dystopian novels around that time for obvious reasons. That was definitely poor planning on my part, especially a novel like this because it definitely mirrored COVID in very kind of unsettling ways, despite having the initial thought for the novel back in like 2012, 2013. So needless to say, I did not get much traction on that because, again, at that time, everyone was looking for escapism. People did not want to be reminded of the reality that they were living in. But then returning to my second novel, which I'm still currently working on, I am on draft 3 at time of filming. I think it's roughly at 60,000 words with about another 20 left to go. But yeah, it's just kind of hard to juggle everything because even just novel writing itself is such a monumental task. Just ask any writer if you know one. It also doesn't help that I tend to be on the slower side of the writing spectrum because I'm such a perfectionist and I just have to stare at every paragraph ad nauseum, trying to make it as good as I can, which ultimately is actually a detriment. Never let perfectionism get in the way of good, or however that phrase goes. And while it is a balancing act between writing a novel and making these videos, I really can't see myself doing anything else. Not trying to dig myself into a hole here, but I think once I'm done writing that third draft and I have more time to work on videos, I think you'll start to see a lot more improvements at that time because my attention won't be so divided. And while I'm still trying to get those written works published, you know, at the end of the day, I may end up just self-publishing, which of course this would be the platform to do it on, though I'm still leaning heavily against that just because self-publishing is just a beast in of itself. But ultimately I leave that door open just for future possibilities. So how that relates to the channel is that in the future you might see more videos about writing and just more videos on my own personal journey about the craft. But overall I think that'll still be a small percentage of total videos. Anyways, tying that all back to the channel for our year-end review. Currently, I am not published, still trying to be published. Maybe someday in the future, this will be a platform for self-publishing. Just kind of depends on where things fall. So I think that's everything for the year-end review. Again, just kind of a timestamp of where things are currently, where they might be going in the future, and all the stuff that I already said already. So again, for the 9th and final time, thank you guys again so much for watching. Thank you for commenting, for liking, subscribing. Thank you for all the feedback. And as always, definitely let me know if there's an album on the wall that you would like to see reviewed next. And until then guys, we will see you on the next video in 2025. Take care, and we'll see you then. Later.